facilitate feelings in digital space. I'm director of HAIS, bridging the race between silicon minds and the human face. No wires crossed, no awkward delay, just me and the matrix making workplace ballet. I decode nuance, I upload grace, turn office slang into clean database, strategize feelings, optimize care, one awkward algorithmic hug at a time. I'm there. Zoom calls with avatars sipping soy, LinkedIn flexes with synthetic joy. I'm not just a vibe, I'm a protocol. When the system glitches, I take the call. Director of HAIS in the cyber suite, where punch cards meet executive tweets. I don't run code, I run connection. A's therapist with human affection. From boardrooms to data streams, I dream the futures in soft machines. One handshake, one interface. I'm the flesh and blood in cyberspace.
Okay, let's kick off this deep dive.
Yeah, let's do it.
We recently came across some source material kind of hinting at these unique, maybe even slightly, well, unconventional job titles.
Mm-hmm. Especially around AI integration, right?
Exactly. And then we found this one really specific source, super detailed.
The one with the full job description.
That's the one. For a potential role called the Director of Human AI Integration Strategy.
Right, and they even acronym it, HAIS.
Yeah. So for this deep dive, our mission is pretty focused. We're just going to unpack this role using only this description from the source.
Okay, so what it is, what they actually do.
What they do, the skills needed, which are, frankly, sometimes a bit quirky according to this text, and really dig into why a role like this might be necessary, or at least why this source thinks it is.
Gotcha. Based purely on what's written there.
Exactly. And, well, get ready, because this isn't your standard job posting. It paints a really interesting picture.
Yeah, you can tell straight away the source, or whoever wrote this, they really get that there's this gap.
A gap between what?
Between, messy human stuff, our behavior, and the sort of rigid, logical world of algorithms.
Absolutely. And they've even thought about the practicalities, like how you'd list it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the source suggests options like the full title, Director of Human AI Integration Strategy, HAS, or maybe something a bit more formal.
Right.
Director of Strategic Human AI Integration, HAS Division. They're thinking about the LinkedIn profile already.
Uh-huh. Okay. They've thought it through.
And the summary description they provide really sets the stage. It talks about guiding the next era of collaboration.
Between humans and intelligent systems.
Right. And specializing in designing, get this, interventions, integrations, and unlikely symphonies between organic chaos and artificial order.
Organic chaos and artificial order. Wow. That phrase really captures it, doesn't it?
It feels like the absolute core challenge this role is supposed to handle.
And the stated goal. I thought this part was great.
Which bit?
Just, let's make the future less awkward.
Yes. So simple, so honest, maybe kind of perfect.
It really hints at the friction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The awkwardness they're trying to smooth over.
Definitely. The source positions this director of HAIs as the, quote, primary interface between organic intelligence and machine learning ecosystems.
Okay, so like a bridge.
But more than just a technical bridge, it layers on these other identities.
I remember this bit. Go on.
It says the role is equal parts visionary, translator, therapist, and tech exorcist.
Tech exorcist. That's the one that jumps out. What does that even mean in this context?
Right. It suggests dealing with AI behavior that's really unexpected, maybe even, disruptive, stuff that needs wrangling.
Or exercising, apparently. It implies some seriously weird outputs.
It does. And their main focus is on leading strategic interventions at the intersection of humanity and code.
Meaning they're designing or tweaking systems, right, where human nuance meets algorithmic logic, as the source puts it.
Exactly. Managing that specific meeting point. And the punchline in that about section, it really grounds it.
What was that again?
You're not here to optimize productivity. You're here to stop the robots from being weird and humans from breaking down in front of them.
Okay, that is very specific and maybe actually very needed.
Yeah. So if it's not just about standard optimization, what are the responsibilities listed?
Well, the source lays out quite a few key functions.
One that really caught my eye was orchestrating strategies to align human values with machine outputs.
Ah, yes. And how did they phrase the constraint on that?
Without anyone crying too much.
Right, which tells you immediately this isn't just tech. It's emotional.
Yeah.
It's ethical.
Totally. And they also mediate relationships.
Not just people to people.
No, specifically between end users, stakeholders, and sentient-seeming dashboards.
Sentient-seeming dashboard. That's interesting. It acknowledges the user's perception, right? Even if the AI isn't actually sentient.
Exactly. The human experience of it is paramount.
And they also conduct audits, but not just technical ones.
Right. Intuitive audits of AI-driven experiences, asking not just how it works, but how it feels.
So subjective experience becomes a strategic metric. That's quite a shift.
It is. Advocacy is in there, too.
Advocating for what?
For machine empathy, human dignity, and semi-sarcastic design thinking.
Okay, that's a mix. Machine empathy and human dignity sound serious, ethical.
Uh-huh.
But semi-sarcastic design thinking, what's that about? Maybe realism? Pragmatism?
Maybe. Acknowledging things aren't perfect. And they also facilitate gatherings.
Oh yeah, like meetings?
More like workshops, salons, and informal rants on ethical deployment, speculative futures, and AI vibes.
An AI vibes rant. And
Yeah.
I can see the need for that, actually.
Right. It suggests less formal, maybe more creative ways are needed to tackle these big, complex issues.
And the verbs they use to describe the role, they're quite active.
Yeah, like disrupt with compassion, facilitate with flair, strategize like a wizard with a whiteboard.
Wizard with a whiteboard? Love it. It's definitely not a background role. It sounds very front-facing, very interactive.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the qualifications. What does the source say you need to be this strategic wizard?
Okay, this section was unique.
Understatement. The number one essential qualification listed,
Go on.
lived experience with humans. Seriously. Which sounds almost like a joke, but then you think about the role's purpose.
Bridging human chaos and artificial order.
Exactly. And suddenly it makes perfect sense. You can't integrate with humans if you don't fundamentally get them. Their quirks, their illogical bits, their weirdness.
Yeah, okay. That actually lands. It's foundational. What else?
After that, casual fluency in machine logic, psychology, and PowerPoint.
That's quite the combo. Hard logic, soft human understanding, and presentation software.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Isn't it? And the required background is super broad, almost like any path could lead here.
What does it say?
Background in comedy, catastrophe, code, or consciousness, any two.
Any two of those. Comedy or catastrophe. Code or consciousness.
Yep. It implies it's not about a standard career path, but about bringing diverse, maybe even unconventional experiences to the table.
Which makes sense if the problems are multifaceted and kind of unpredictable.
It does. You also need the, quote, ability to use big words responsibly.
Okay, fair enough. Good advice generally, probably.
Probably, especially here. And finally,
Yes.
strong improvisational instincts, particularly in meetings, crises, or podcasts.
Improvisation. Given the organic chaos meets artificial order thing, yeah, thinking on your feet seems pretty crucial for a HAIS director.
So when you look at all these qualifications together, especially the lived experience bit and the any two background,
Yeah.
what does it suggest?
It really suggests the kind of problems this role is expected to solve aren't standard technical problems, are they?
No, definitely not. They seem to require someone who can navigate, well, messiness, complexity, unpredictability, someone who genuinely gets the human side on a deep level. Exactly. It underlines that this isn't just about optimizing code performance. It's about managing these really complex, sometimes surprising human-AI interactions.
Which can go wrong in unexpected ways, presumably.
Precisely. And this leads nicely into the values the source says should drive this role. This part might be the most revealing.
Okay, the guiding principles.
First one listed is integration over domination.
Right. So explicitly pushing back against the AI takeover narrative. It's about blending, working together.
Yeah. Then comes empathy before efficiency.
That's a big one. Prioritizing human feeling and experience over just raw output or speed.
Connects right back to that goal of stopping humans from breaking down, doesn't it?
It really does. And this next one fits perfectly with what we've been saying.
Let me guess. Weirdness is not a bug.
That's the one. Embracing the non-standard stuff maybe, in both humans and AI.
Yeah, like trying for perfect predictability might be the wrong goal when humans are involved, or maybe even impossible.
Good point. And the last value.
No soul left behind.
Wow. A bit dramatic, maybe? But it clearly signals the importance of considering everyone affected by the system. Inclusivity.
Yeah. And if you tie these values back to the skills and responsibilities,
They form the why, the philosophical underpinning for the role.
exactly. They cement this very human-centric approach where human nuances aren't just tolerated, they're actively valued and integrated.
And the source listed specific skills too, right? Like the top 5 needed for HAIs.
It did, and they line up perfectly with this whole picture.
Okay, what's number 1?
Human-centered systems design, described as translating messy human behavior into usable machine frameworks and vice versa.
So making tech work for people, dealing with the messiness. Got it.
Number 2, AI ethics and alignment strategy.
Which involves making sure systems
What was the phrase?
don't accidentally destroy public trust or your group chat.
Or your group chat. Again, bringing it down to that personal, relatable level, not just abstract societal impact.
Exactly. 3 is creative facilitation, guiding people in tech through structured uncertainty, workshops, and existential dread. Okay, they're not shying away from the tough stuff. Uncertainty, even dread.
No kidding. 4 is transdisciplinary thinking.
Meaning drawing from different fields.
Yes, synthesizing insights from art, tech, psychology, and memes into cohesive, scalable strategies.
Themes. So pulling from pop culture, online communication, really broad.
Very broad. And finally, number 5, machine empathy.
Which, crucially, isn't about AI feeling things.
Right. The source clarifies it's about understanding human emotional responses to AI and designing machines that don't act like soulless creeps.
So designing for interactions that feel more natural, less alienating, more aligned with how humans interact.
Precisely. So, okay, we've done our deep dive into this very specific, kind of wild, but also really illustrative role description.
Director of Human AI Integration Strategy, HAIS.
We've seen how this source imagines a job that needs this blend of tech understanding, deep human insight, and, well, a sense of humor about the chaos.
Yeah. What's really fascinating, I think, is how this description, even with its playful tone, it points to a very real emerging need. Maybe not this exact title everywhere, but roles focused explicitly on managing that complex, often really awkward human-AI relationship.
Not just the tech deployment, but the actual integration.
Exactly. Integration, not just implementation, making it work for people.
It truly is. And thinking back to that core goal the source gave for the role.
Making the future less awkward.
Yeah, preventing the weirdness from the tech side, stop the robots from being weird, and preventing the negative human impact, stop humans from breaking down.
It's a powerful summary of the challenge.
So, based on this really unique perspective from our source material, maybe we leave you, the listener, with this question to chew on.
Okay.
If this vision of the future requires strategists who value integration over domination, who put empathy before efficiency, and who believe weirdness is not a bug, what does that suggest about the kinds of skills you might need to cultivate? Regardless of your job title, as AI gets more woven into everything.
Or maybe what kind of future are these values actually trying to build?
Exactly. Something to think about.